Out here on a lake in North Idaho. Going to set up some otter traps. This is kind of a unique spot for a lot of otter trapping. It's a lot different than what a lot of people are used to. So I stumbled across this place about a year ago. It's a private property area, but the guy has a lot of issues with otters coming up and using his dock as a toilet. The problem is that there's no land access to his dock. They're just coming up on the dock and using it as their toilet. So in the past, I've used cage traps that are hung off the side of the dock and baited them with fish, and they've been you know, I've caught a few otters that way. I've done bucket sets with 220s, caught a couple otters that way. But I kind of wanted something different, and I didn't really know what to do until this last article, or last magazine from Fur Fish and Game had an article in it about how to trap otters like this, and it was exactly what I'm looking for as far as what I need to do. I'm going to go into length as to how it's set and what we're trying to solve here. Pretty ingenious, but pretty simple as well. Just to kind of give you what we're looking at here, is this is the dock that's set up. It's cold up here, so there's a little bit of ice forming, but we're on a big body of water. This water doesn't freeze at all, and you can see right here where the otters are coming up and using it as a toilet. Things froze pretty hard last night, so everything's all frozen. Okay, so this is the start of the set. Like I said, the article in Fur Fish and Game talked about how to make these sets for marine environment otters. What the guy was finding is that the otters were wanting to use these carpet areas as toilets, and they were always getting into bags of peat moss. So he designed this set. It's just a box affixed to the dock, filled with peat moss and some strips of carpet laid down the three sides, and then a trap will be bedded in the center of the box. Now, his experience with it is that it was nearly an every night issue with him either having a catch or having a miss, that the otters were up here and coming up to these boxes. So what I'm using is a Duke 4-coiled foothold. I got kind of a longer chain on there. I was using these for beavers and stuff like that. Set to a drowning line that goes right over the edge. And this pan tension is set to about 3.5 pounds. Somewhere in there. That way, you know, when the otters come in here, you know, it's not going to be just, you know, they're going to have to step on that pan to get it to fire. You know, if they're just kind of hitting it a little bit, it's not going to go off. I don't want it to be a hair trigger on this. So we're going to set it down in this peat, and we'll get things filled in here, and I'll show you what that looks like. Got the trap bedded down in here. You got to do the best you can. It is peat moss. It is a little bit hard to get a firm bed on these traps. Fortunately, otters aren't too trap shy. It's nothing like a coyote where you have to be completely rock solid. So I have this in here, and then we'll just start filling it in. Just like you would in any other trap, but the one thing that we want to do here is kind of build up the sides and leave that pan at a lower level. So again, always know where your pan's at, and start filling up this box. So spilling out some of this peat is not bad. We're going to cover a lot of this carpeted area with the peat. That's kind of what the otters seem to be liking, according to the guy that wrote this article. Again, we're going to kind of build the sides up a little bit more. Like I said, I am using a 4-coil trap. We'd have some freezing weather around here, although the peat doesn't necessarily freeze a whole lot. Things do get slowed down a little bit by some of this freezing weather. And we have a few days of some freezing weather coming up, so we want to prevent any of the traps from not wanting to go off. Like I said, I didn't come up with this trap method. I just read about it in a magazine. It was something that I was looking for. I thought it looked really neat. It's pretty simple. The boxes are easy to make. It takes a couple minutes to put them together and get things going. It's a pretty neat setup, I think, for when you have an area you can trap, but it's almost impossible to put a foothold trap in. This just kind of solved all the problems. I think one more little dusting here should do it. Build up these edges just a little bit more. Okay, so I got 2 sets done. This is the set that I showed you guys making. Pretty simple set. And then I came over here and did another set. So, a bunch of otter poop right here. This is a common area for them to come up and use the toilet. So, like I said, I've never tried this before. It looks pretty simple, and we'll see how it works. Again, this is set up just the exact same way. There's a number 4 coiled Duke bedded in there on a drowner line. This water is real deep. Fortunately, my cable's long enough to reach the bottom. So hopefully here in the next day or two we'll have an otter, and we'll bring that to you guys.